today. Now this is pod racing. This is pigeon racing. Oh, it's not racing, exactly. Look, war is weird. This is CheckPoint. Hello and welcome to CheckPoint, this week with two visible hosts.
Yeah, we tried it the other way, but I think we can now safely say that fully opaque corporeal hosts are the way to go.
The color red. In the real world, it's a de facto trademark of Coca-Cola, but in our strange corner of reality, it means one thing. Or at least when combined with a Rockstar Games logo, it means one thing, we think. This past weekend, Rockstar Games tweeted this image and nothing else, which we hope did its job, because suddenly everyone is abuzz about the possibility of a new game in the Red Dead series. A follow-up tweet this morning that features a silhouette of a group of cowboys, or maybe hipsters, is pretty clear confirmation at this point of a Red Dead game. But can you imagine if it was just a fancy rebrand? Or like, oh, we meant it to be orange because Halloween, but messed up the saturation, oops, whoops. Worst possible scenario? A new GTA 5 DLC where they wear cowboy outfits for some stupid reason.
The most popular and recognizable video game voice actors might be going on strike if SAG-AFTRA's, by the way, that's the union that represents professional actors and beloved video game voice providers like David Hayter, Ashley Birch, and Jennifer Hale, doesn't get their demands met by this Friday, October 21st. It will strike, and its members won't be able to appear in games published by EA, Activision, Disney, Take-Two, Insomniac, or Warner Brothers, to name some of the biggest studios that will be affected. But why the strike? What do they want? Well, first of all, SAG-AFTRA wants its members to receive royalties if the game they worked on went on to sell more than 2 million copies, similar to how professional actors receive royalties when TV shows go into syndication or if commercials are aired over and over again. SAG-AFTRA is also seeking stunt pay for vocally stressful recording and motion capture sessions, and in what is probably the weirdest thing that has to be described as a demand, to be told what kind of character they're supposed to be playing and get some basic information about the game they might be in before going to auditions. While not every upcoming game would be affected by the strike if it goes ahead, pretty much every upcoming AAA title will be. So look forward to the new Red Dead starring the studio manager's 16-year-old nephew, I guess.
If you have a PSVR headset but don't feel like going full virtual reality every night, or even using a PlayStation, you're in luck. Apparently, the PSVR accepts any HDMI input and displays the source in cinematic mode, where it appears as if on a giant movie theater screen. No longer will you have to mount a television to your bedroom ceiling to enjoy Netflix while fully reclined. If the TV is being used by someone else, you can just plug into whatever you want, and then both parties can enjoy their own media as you sit in stony silence. And all you see is whatever you're watching. They're the ones that have to look at the weirdo in the headset sitting on the couch beside them. The most amazing part of this is that Sony is using an industry standard port instead of some stupid HDMI variant that's shaped like a rhombus or something.
The newest Battlefield game, which is called Battlefield 1 despite being the 14th game in the series, features a bit where you can play as a pigeon. A carrier pigeon, though, delivering orders, not like a regular Skyrat pigeon. It's actually a very, very serious, touching scene, only slightly overshadowed by the fact that you're playing as a bird in a game whose naming schema has somehow become an Ouroboros.
What seems like forever ago, a time when I believe this was a different show, we reported on a class action lawsuit being brought against Sony for removal of the Other OS feature of the PlayStation 3. Briefly, when the PS3 launched, the advertised Other OS feature let you install other operating systems, which was always Linux, on the console, and when Sony removed that feature, a bunch of people, Linux users mostly, were understandably upset. Well, the case is finally closed and you may have some money coming to you. If you live in the US and have proof of purchase of a PS3 between November 2006 and April 2010, and can prove that you used or intended to use the Other OS feature, you can get $55. Even if you can't prove that you ever cared about the Other OS feature, if you can just prove that you bought an early PS3, you can still get $9. I'm sure you've got all those receipts kicking around, and that the toner hasn't faded it into a small strip of white paper sometime in the intervening 10 years. And that concludes the last checkpoint ever.
What? That is definitely not the case.
Well, okay, sure, we'll probably be back, but who knows what could happen in the meantime. Maybe there will be some kind of literal console war that will tear the video game industry apart and there won't be any news to report on.
Okay, well, we're going to PAX Australia, and then we get back 5 days before Desert Bus. So let's just work under the assumption that Checkpoint will resume after Desert Bus.
Okay, probably yes. Assuming we ever regain consciousness.
Coming up, Overwatch player Rudism has made a new controller for Winston that is completely bananas, by which I mean that it is actually composed of bananas that he wired together into a capacitive touch device. The controller could also be handy if you get low on potassium and don't care about moving left. There, we might want to redo some of those.
I definitely got some word wrong.